Boy Usman back again with another video. Was actually going to record this video on a Tuesday, like I initially said, but as we know, we had the maddest heat wave in the UK. So I was like, there's no way on God's given earth that I am sitting inside recording a video when it's that hot in my room. And as you can see, it's a slight change to the proceedings on the Monday and Tuesday. It's absolutely freezing in my room now. So that's basically UK in a nutshell. Anyways, as you can see from the title, this is a Lisandro Martinez player profile video. So basically, we're going to be going through the strengths and weakness of Lisandro Martinez. Let's say you're living under a rock, everyone is talking about his height or his lack of height, should I say, and everyone's basically belittling him because they just don't like short kings. They don't want our short kings to win. Obviously, I can't relate. I'm 6 foot and all that, but shout out to all my short kings out there. This one's for you, this video. We're going to be preaching that height does not matter. But obviously, we'll get into that. Listen, Rav is running late. The show was meant to start at 9, but sadly, it's starting at 9:30. I don't actually know if the show is live currently. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, because I'm having issues. But fingers crossed, it is live. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. If not, let me know in the chat, or one of you that are watching this, because, we know that my views are falling off. We know that. But guess what? The people that are watching this, you're the real ones. You're my ride or dies, and I appreciate you. So, stick by me. We've got a lot of good content coming in the new season, including a couple of fan cams. And as I have told you guys already, I have now got a season ticket. So that means I'm going to be doing some match day vlogs, obviously at the home games. I'm not really sure about the Europa League and all that good stuff. We're going to see what we're going to do. But I can tell you one thing, they're going to be spectacular. They're going to be absolute quality. But yeah, listen, obviously, regarding the video itself, as I've said, we're going to be talking about Lisandro Martinez. Rav is running late, as I just mentioned. So we're going to wait for him before we go into the bulk of that. I just want to talk about something else prior to that. Also, we'll be talking about Malacia, Manchester United's latest signing, the left back who currently is, doing really well. I feel like I've got crisp in my beard. I don't know what's going on there. I do apologize. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about Ibrahim Sangaré. That's how you pronounce the name. Probably butchered that, but we'll be discussing that as well. So yeah, basically get your questions in. Slap a like, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to follow me on my socials. Usman Talks United on TikTok and Twitter. At the moment, Twitter, I'm not really that popular. I'm getting absolutely battered by pillar to post because of my comments regarding Harry Maguire. So let's just start with that, because I think a lot of people have massively misunderstood what I was trying to imply. I think a lot of people are thinking I'm taking a dig at Maguire for autographing and taking pictures with fans. That was completely not what I was saying. If anything, I commend him for doing that. After he got booed as well, he still did that. So fair play to him. Fair play to the guy. I mean, I got nothing against him on a personal level. On a football ability, yes, I probably do have an agenda. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people saying I've got an agenda against Maguire. I probably do, to be fair. If that many people are saying it, it's probably true. So fair enough. I hold my hands up. I have got an agenda against Maguire. It is what it is. But can you blame me? It's not like he's been setting the world alight. But yeah, let's talk about the incident. First things first. Look, I was not having a dig at Maguire. He can do what he wants in terms of with the fans. Happy days. You're the captain, expect that. For me personally, it was more the media side and the fact that the media basically taking the piss, really, to be quite honest with you. They're not even trying to hide it. The fact that other players have been booed in the past in Man United shirts and no one has, batted an eyelid is absolutely perplexing. But as soon as it's an English player, all hell breaks loose. You've got Gary Neville, who's trying to be a politician now, coming out and talking about how it's abuse and how we shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z. I mean, yeah, he's right, but where's the same energy for the other players? And that's where my comment massively got misconstrued and misunderstood. It was more to do with the fact that the media don't have the same energy for other players. It was nothing to do with Maguire, to be honest. It could have been anyone else. But it just happened to be Maguire. When it was Rashford, I was talking about Rashford. So it's not like strictly a Maguire thing. Obviously, the same with Rashford as well, and when he was getting PR last season. But the point is, right, and it's very straightforward. When Marcel was getting booed and called every name under the sun because he's lazy and doesn't want to be here. Apparently, he's got poor attitude and whatnot. In January, no one said anything. I mean, nobody came out. I didn't hear Gary Neville come out and say stop the abuse to Martial. I didn't hear, Simon Stone or whoever it was to tweet it out initially. And all these other, credible journalists within the community, i.e. My United correspondents, come out and defend Martial. And that's where, for me, I have to speak up about it. I'm one of those people that when I see something that isn't right, I will speak up about it. I know a lot of people don't like me for that, which is fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion. But I will always speak up about it. That's just me. At the end of the day, that's just the kind of person I am, and I'll always stay true to it. But what I am going to do, I'm going to quickly restart my thing. Just give me a second. That doesn't make sense, I know, but give me a sec. We go. I didn't have the comments on. Sorry, I do apologize. I just realized I didn't have the comment section on, so I apologize. Hello everyone. Hopefully you're all well. I don't know what happened. The comments just went. Big up Usman. Hope you're well, mate. Keep it the good. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Can't wait for this one. Yes, James. Hi. Oh, James is back. Hello, James. How are you? But yeah, so just to basically sum up what I was saying. I don't know where I've got this cough from. Yeah, to sum up what I was saying, just hold the same energy. End of the day, if Maguire's gonna get booed, by all means come out and protect him. That's fine. But when Martial's getting booed, please protect him as well. It's just as simple as that. It's not even, it's not even about the player at the end of the day. Like, no one should be getting booed. For me personally, some people think Maguire should get booed. Some people think he shouldn't get booed. For me, I just think it's ridiculous that he got booed. I don't understand why he got booed at a preseason game. It's not that deep. It's a new season. We don't need to be booing our players going into a new season. But if it was the middle of the last season and you booed him, I wouldn't do it personally, but I'd understand it because of the performances of the players as a whole. But going into a new season, we don't really need that toxicity and animosity going into a new season. Everyone gets a fresh slate, even Maguire, although I'm not his biggest fan as we know. But yeah, so Maguire aside, just going to quickly address the Martial thing again. Rav is coming 10-15 minutes. I don't know when he's going to be here, but I thought I'd talk anyways because I've got a lot to get off my chest, as you can imagine. Let's talk about Martial v Ronaldo because that is the biggest talking point as it currently stands for most Manchester United fans. I mean, I just think it's ridiculous. Again, it just comes down to this fan base. I just think the fan base is so toxic. I don't understand what's going on. 6 months ago, in January in particular, it's just everyone was hating on Martial. I mean, I was critical of Martial. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was extremely critical of Martial, and there's no denying that. But I just don't get it. Like, literally, everyone was saying he's got a poor attitude, he's lazy, he doesn't want to be here, he's handling in transfer cards, wherever it may be. And then 6 months later, he scored 3 goals in the preseason, and everybody's lapping it up, and everyone's like, oh, Martial is the answer. I mean, what the hell? Why do we flip from X, like, all the from here to here? Why can't we just be normal? Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that Martial is doing well, and long may it continue, alongside Rashford, Sancho, etc. But just chill out. Like, why is it always one extreme to the other? Like, if Martial doesn't score in the first 3 games, let's say, I think it was Brighton, Brentford, and Liverpool, everyone's going to say he's lazy, he's got attitude problem, he's a flop, he's X, Y, and Z again. But if he does bag, everyone's going to say Martial's back. I mean, it's boring, man. It is so long. It's so long. And on top of that, everyone's now saying, oh, we don't need Ronaldo. I mean, look, the Ronaldo thing, before I get into the other side of it, him acting the way he acts, I do not agree with that. Him missing training and all the nonsense. I don't agree with that at all. I'm not saying that that's okay from Ronaldo. But what I'm saying is now everyone's completely disregarding the 24 goals Ronaldo scored in a poor Manchester United team and saying Martial is the saviour. Why can't both players work in tandem? Do people not understand that you need more than one player? Like, you need more than one dimension at a football club. It's not all, oh, let's just go all Martial or let's go all Ronaldo. You can have both and they can work cohesively together as a team. And the people are obviously feeling because Ronaldo has the potential to cause disruption in the dressing room. And look, there's truth to that. There's absolute truth to that. And I can't disregard that, and I can't sit here and say, there's no truth to that, because there is truth. Ronaldo's a big personality, there's no denying that, and he could definitely cause it upset in the dressing room, there's no denying that. But the notion that Ronaldo is just going to come in and cause upset, for me, is laughable as well, because at the end of the day, is Ronaldo the problem there, or is it the players in the dressing room that can't deal with a player of his mentality, his demands? I mean, for me personally, if you watch The Last Dance, I remember Michael Jordan was talking about, he was sat basically doing an interview during the sort of the documentary, and they were asking him, how's your relationship with the players? He goes, well, a lot of the players don't like me. A lot of the players don't like me, but at the end of the day, I'm here to win. And that's what you want. That's what you want. A lot of those players that don't like him, either they're not ready to win, or they haven't got the mentality, or third thing, they should just don't. Just shouldn't be at the club, basically. What I'm trying to say, those players should not be at the club. Okay, one shout out to Shazad, my brother, long time. Hopefully, I see you soon. Hopefully, you're doing well, my guy. Love you. Love you long time. LK1, yeah, for life. Maguire's the captain and needs to lead from the front as well. Let me just get your comments in. If you can't lead, get out of the kitchen. Fair enough. I mean, if you can't understand the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's the saying. Charlie saying, you're spot on about the treatment of Maguire's situation compared to Pogba. Disgraceful how people call out one player for being booed and encouraged to hate. Yeah, honest to God, all my comments was like, well, Pogba deserved to get booed and told to F off. I mean, neither player deserved any of the treatment. That's the be all or end of it. Obviously, I understand Pogba has done more things to potentially warrant that, but nobody deserves to be abused, man. It's as simple as that. That is the bottom line. Obviously, some people on earth who are, criminals, done certain things in their life. I'm sure you can imagine what I'm trying to insinuate here. They deserve abuse because obviously of the stuff that they've done, but it's just football, man. People don't deserve abuse over football. Come on, man, it's been ridiculous. But yeah, coming back to the Ronaldo thing, obviously, yeah, regarding the Ronaldo thing, basically what I'm trying to say, if he's coming to the dressing room and you're acting negatively, towards him, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, have I got the mentality? Have I got the right mindset to be at Manchester United? Because for me personally, a lot of those players, you need to ask questions of those players. Maguire potentially might be one of them, but there was a lot of reports that Luke Shaw, Maguire, and I think it was Wan-Bissaka that weren't happy, just weren't happy with bloody flipping with the fact that Ronaldo was such a big figure in the dressing room. I mean, I'm sorry if. I know it's daunting. I know it could be difficult, but you're grown-ass men, some of you. Maguire's a grown-ass adult, and you can't deal with Ronaldo. I mean, for me, it just screams weak mentality for them players. And Maguire's the captain, so he has to set the precedent. And at the end of the day, he's not doing that. So that's on him as well, and obviously on Luke Shaw as well. For me, Luke Shaw, by the way, Luke Shaw's got... I've defended Luke Shaw a lot over the years, but he's getting away with murder. He's getting away with murder at Manchester United. Honest to God, the guy's been here for 8 years and he's had 18 good months, right? And he is getting away with murder. The guy, I can't believe it. Like, he's hardly ever fit. When he plays, he's half-arsing it around. Yeah, like I said, he had a great 18-month period where I was gassing him. But overall, Luke Shaw has not been a good Manchester United player alongside many others. But it never gets mentioned. It never gets mentioned by the media or the general top reds. Why does Luke Shaw never get any criticism? I don't understand it. This is what I mean. Certain players are protected. And for me, it's very simple. Judge them all with the same brush. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, if you're going to criticize Pogba and say X, Y, Z, don't want to play for the club, whatnot, where's Luke Shaw's criticism? What has he done in 8 years? He's done absolutely nothing. He's been injured more than he's played. He's had one good period in 8 years, and apparently he's lauded. And then you got Martial being branded lazy, etc. I mean, this is what I mean. Certain players are branded certain things, certain players ain't. For me personally, it's English bias. I've got to be honest. That's how I see it. If people think I'm insinuating something, that's fine. I understand why you would assume that. But what else about men a thing? Why is Luke Shaw never criticised? But then you've got Martial getting criticised. And for me, Martial's had a better career at Man United than Luke Shaw. Like, he's contributed to trophies at least. Luke Shaw's done absolutely nothing at Manchester United to really warrant any protection from journalists and the British media. But yeah, for me, it's absolute piss day. Shout out to all the people in here. Obviously, please feel free to slap a like. Shout out to Ty, obviously killing it on his channel. Shout out to you, bro, as well, man. Smashing it on 2K. And that you love to see it. Big thing. People in the chat, get your comments in, guys. Because it's English player get protected, joke thing. All these journalists are friends with English. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. But yeah, to come back to the initial point, obviously, I keep straying away. I do apologize. But yeah, Ronaldo and Martial, I think they're going to work fantastically well together as a pair. I think they're more than capable of playing together. I think they're both very high IQ players. Martial has already shown in the Ten Hag system he can flourish. I understand why people would be potentially worried about the fact that, Ronaldo could come in and disrupt that. But I think, top quality players can play with other top quality players. You saw last season, they only played one game together, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually set up the goal for Rashford when he scored against West Ham. I know Cavani was involved as well, but it was actually Ronaldo and Martial who initially linked up. And then obviously the ball got played to Cavani, who squared it for Rashford. And of course, we won against West Ham, the last kick of the game. So for me personally, they're more than capable of playing together. Got a great question here from the United Race saying, do you think Ronaldo can hold bench? Look, this is what it comes down to for me. Eric Ten Hag has to earn his money. I'm a massive fan of Ten Hag. I'm pro Ten Hag. And for me, I think this is what the challenges of being a Manchester United manager is. You know, you're gonna have high-profile players. Okay, in this case, it's Ronaldo. In 5 years' time, hopefully, if he's still here and he's been successful, you'll have another issue, another dilemma, which will be similar. You've got a high-profile player that demands to play week in, week out. How do you deal with that? And that's why he's paid the big money. That's why he's at Manchester United. You know, I don't know why people assume that, oh, it's going to be such a dilemma. At the end of the day, this is his job. This is what he needs to do to earn his money. And for me, he needs to find a way of keeping these players happy. And it's not even that many players. You're talking 4 players, two of which are wingers in Rashford and Sancho, and you got 2 strikers, out and out strikers, so to speak. So, and one of which in Martial can play left wing, so you could technically accommodate him and just keep rotating him if you really wanted to, and it would be easy to keep him happy. If anything, I think we need another attacker because we need another option in case one of these guys get injured. Then we're going to be extremely threadbare. So for me personally, does Ronaldo hold bench? Ten Hag has to have that conversation with him. Has he got the cojones to bench him? For me personally, it's not going to be easy to have that conversation with him. But at the end of the day, he needs to be able to sit down with him and say, look, big man, you're 37, you're going to be 38, you've done a lot in the game, but, you know, your body's not willing like your mind is. You know, your body's not the same as it was 10 years ago. I mean, that would be a completely different conversation if it was. But the thing is, like, he needs to be able to have that conversation man to man and say, look, you're gonna play, you're gonna be a big part of the plans. However, you know, you're not gonna play as much as you expect. As simple as that. So yeah, for me personally, regarding Ronaldo and Martial, that is the way I sit on it. But anyways, we are going to introduce our guest. He has just arrived on. I think he's not ready yet. Ravish, just drop me a message in chat when you are ready. Keep getting comments in. So basically, the premise of this video, I do apologize for me rambling, is talking about Lisandro Martinez. We have got an Ajax fan, as you can see from the title. Good friend of mine, Ravish, who is based in Amsterdam as well. Of course, he will be breaking down all his thoughts regarding the Argentinian. There's been a lot of talk from rival fans, journalists alike. You know, where does he fit in at Manchester United? How is he going to fare? Is he able to, to cut in the Premier League? And all those questions will be answered. So if you've got any questions regarding Martinez or any player in the Dutch league, this is your opportunity to ask them questions. And it looks like Ravish is ready. So we are going to get Ravish in. Just going to give everyone a shout, just a heads up. Apologies in advance, but my connection will cut out. Every time I add someone as a speaker, it cuts out. When I do a solo video, it doesn't. Again, I've spoken to my internet provider about a billion times, and they're saying it's my fault, which is absolute waffle. But that aside, let's introduce the homie is building. Ravish, what's this? You blades?
Hey, sorry, bro. Give me 1 sec. I had to adjust my webcam.
Okay.
Oh man, my day was real different than I hoped to. I will
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If you want to just sort it back
you
out and drop me a message, and then it will.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh,
you can start.
You're good now, actually. To be fair, you're good. But yeah, just take your webcam off for now. While you're sorting out, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I'll just keep choking so chat. But anyways, yeah, as Ravish is sorting that out, let's just talk about. Oh, I've put him on solo. There we go. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. I'm back. Hey, look at him, looking glowing and that. Yes, Ravish, how are you doing first and foremost, my brother? You good?
I'm good. I'm real happy to be here again. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well. It's good to see your face. Obviously, hoping to see you at Old Trafford this season. You're basically going to be a Manchester United fan for a couple of games at least, hopefully. But yeah, we'll get into that a bit later on. But listen, as I just said, I do apologize if I crash. Just keep doing your thing, keep talking. I don't know what, my internet is just messed, basically, long story short. But listen, I want to talk about the Argentinian Lisandro Martinez. I know we've been speaking a lot in the DMs, of course. I know you're not happy he's left. I don't know if you're aware of what the British media are saying about him. You may or may not be aware, but a lot of the media are massively criticizing him because of his lack of hype, firstly. They're just saying he's not a good fit, he's not good enough for the Premier League, etc., etc. As an Ajax fan, first and foremost, what do you make of the British media in terms of the way they've dealt with this signing? It seems like a lot of disrespect on his name. How are you feeling hearing all that from the British media?
Well, I think they have to look at the match that Ajax played against Dortmund in Amsterdam when Martinez conquered Haaland like he wasn't there. I was in the stadium during that match, and I was really terrified for the phenomenon Haaland. And I was really surprised the way how disciplined Martinez and Timber played that evening. and how we kicked Dortmund butt, and Haaland had maybe two chances, but afterwards we didn't see him. So if the British media wants to start about his height, yeah, they can do, but Ten Hag knows what he have bought, and you guys will be surprised about how good he is, even in the air. So let them talk. Let them talk. For us, it's a real pity that we have sold him, because Martinez, he was our butcher in Amsterdam. You have read several comments, and yeah, Martinez. I really hoped that he would stay another season, but when clubs like United and Arsenal are trying to go to buy him, and they have gone real high with the amount of the transfer, yeah, it's a good price for Ajax, and I think for his development, it's a real good step.
Yeah, no, you said a lot there. Obviously, the price tag itself will come to that a bit shortly. But in terms of his aerial prowess, again, as you alluded to, people will be surprised. I have seen stats that actually aerially he's actually won more duels than all of our defenders currently in the team, which is extremely impressive given his height. I'm assuming he's got a great vertical. But in terms of his ability, in terms of his physicality, sorry, should I say? Do you think that's going to be something he needs to adjust? I know from listening to some of his quotes, and he seems like a very confident and aggressive player. But
Yes.
is physicality going to be an issue given his height, etc., in the Premier League? Because it's a very physical league. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they're making a big point of it. To be honest, you have to. Of course, he's not the longest player that you will have in the squad, but I think in the past United also has some small defenders, and they also played really well when United was a successful team. First of all, I think that Martinez, of course, he needs to adjust to the Premier League, to the fact that they will play uh, around the 2 days a match, sometimes three matches in a week. But
Yeah.
yeah, he did that also in Amsterdam because we play Champions League, so he is familiar with the rhythm. But um, yeah, I think he's a clever player who can. Of course, he needs some time because yeah, he will move to England. It's a different climate than in Amsterdam, than also in Argentina, what he's used to. But I think with Ten Hag by his side, and the fact that the way Ten Hag wants to play, it's something that suits him, and he doesn't need that much time to adjust to the system of Ten Hag. What might be difficult is the fact that he will play against even stronger players than Haaland and other strikers. That could be something he needs to adjust, and he also needs to check how he can do that. But the way he played in Europe for Ajax showed that he is a real good defender, and every striker should be afraid for Martinez because he is a butcher, and he's a real good butcher.
To be honest, we've needed that for a while. The last butcher, so to speak, was Rojo. Really, who's also Argentinian. Maybe it's just something in the water in Argentina. I think he kind of alluded to that in some of his comments that it's an
He,
Argentinian thing, though, to have that extra bit of passion and fire in them. Look, we
he,
need that
he's he,
massively. Go on,
he's
sorry.
really different than Heinze you guys had in the past. Heinze was also a defender, but Heinze was
Yeah.
more an elegant defender, and he's a guy who played with a knife between his teeth and said, "Come on, I'm gonna eat you." We saw that also here in the Netherlands. He's also a player who can fire up. He can spice things up when it's needed. We saw that also here. After the winter break, Ajax had a period that they have won their matches, but it was real terrifying to see how they were playing. But he was the one with his grinta, together with Alvarez, together with Timba, also familiar for you guys, who kept the team going. And his the fact that he didn't play for the last couple of matches for the season because he got injured, we really missed him. It had a real effect on the team. Also because he can also have a great cross pass in his left foot, which he also developed in the last three years that he came to Amsterdam. So you guys will get a multifunctional player who can play as a defender, But I think he can also play on the midfield. But knowing Ten Hag, he will use him more as a LCV.
Yeah, I mean, we have got quite a lot of questions coming in, so keep your questions coming. Don't worry, I am reading them all, and I will, of course, go through all of them. I understand everyone's asking them a lot of questions. So I suppose before we go into what is his weaknesses, which is a very popular question here in the comment section, I kind of want to focus on some of the positives. So firstly, my question would be to you is, it's quite clear that he's going to be used as left centre back. You kind of alluded to the fact that he has played in midfield, but judging by Ten Hag's comments in 2020, it doesn't seem like that's going to be re-explored, so to speak. Potentially it might be, but obviously time will tell. But it looks like he's going to play left centre back. My question is, who do you think, if you are aware of currently of who is at Man United, that is the best partner for him? So we've got Maguire, just to give you a bit of context. We've got Maguire, Lindelof, Varane, and Bailly. I don't think Bailly is in the fold, to be honest, but obviously if you feel he's best suited, then fair enough. But out of them four, I suppose it's a bit of a hard question, because obviously you can't personally answer it on behalf of Ten Hag, but from your preference, having seen Martinez, who do you think would complement him the most from what we've got available?
Yuri and Timber, but he's not playing at you guys.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were gonna say Timber. Obviously, I wanted Timber. Remember we spoke. I wanted Timber, not Martinez, but obviously I'm happy to get Martinez as well. But,
no, if I be honest, yeah, well, I would say Varane, but the problem with Varane is that he has a lot of injuries.
yeah.
And Lindelof is a little, yeah. I think that, and it sounds real strange coming from me, that Maguire would fit at the moment, because Maguire is the kind of slowest one. But I think with Martinez, who has the pace to also do all the dirty jobs when Maguire isn't giving what he needs to give, I think that Maguire and Martinez could be the right couple at the moment, because I'm not quite sure. But is Varane left or right?
Footed. I think he's left footed, if I'm not mistaken, but I feel like he uses both.
If he has a right foot, if he is more RCV, then you can also put.
He has been playing right. He has been playing right centre back for us, though. He hasn't really played left centre back at all for us.
Who was the left centre back then last season?
Oh, there we got right foot. Yeah, Maguire was the left centre back. So it was Maguire left centre back all season, and Lindelof or Varane right centre back.
Well, if your follower Gullet said he has a right foot, then yeah, you can play with Martinez and Varane, because Varane has also he's more like the elegant defender, and Martinez is the butcher, while Martinez can do everything on power and on pace, and Varane is more like the elegant one. He can do it with souplesse and has a beautiful way of defending. So if Varane is not available, I would play with Maguire. Lindelof is for me not an option, because I never had the feeling that he's a United player. I have that with several players, but I would go either for Maguire or Varane.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, I think most people would probably agree with that at the moment. And there's a few people saying Eric Bailly, because they both would be crazy, and I think it'd just be interesting to watch, and extremely aggressive. But yeah, I mean, regarding the Maguire thing, look, I'm not Maguire's biggest fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure most people in the comments know that. But
yeah, he was booed, right, in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying before you came out, I don't personally agree with that. I just think it's ridiculous. It's a new season, man. Just let it go, so to speak. But yeah, with the Maguire thing, I do understand the logic, because obviously you're saying, one's, obviously more quick across the ground. Maguire is capable of doing those sort of other aspects, and they would complement themselves in that way. But for me personally, I think it has to be Varane, if he stays fit, of course. Yeah, which is a major issue at the moment. But in terms of Lisandro Martinez himself, you've kind of alluded to, the fact that he's extremely aggressive in nature, which is something we've lacked massively, and obviously has the capability to get the people going, etc. But in terms of a Ten Hag system, what do you think his strengths are? Obviously, he knows the system extremely well. I feel like he got your player of the season. I might be wrong in saying that.
Correct. He was.
Yeah, okay, he was your player of the season, so quite pivotal in that system as well. But What would you think? What would you say he's going to bring to the team that nobody else is currently bringing to the team?
Grinta. That's the Grinta, passion, um, and power. Grinta, yeah, power, passion, and Grinta. I think it's the same, but he's bringing it on a different kind of way that we are used to here in Europe, right? Um, to be honest, players in Europe didn't have uh, to fight for the future like the people in South America needed to do. Most of them are coming from a big family, poor family, and football is their way out of their
Yeah,
misery.
yeah,
So, so I think the fact that he needed to fight for his position because he was a small kid made him the player he is nowadays. You see that also with defenders like Kante, who was always needed to fight for themselves and became one of the best players. You won't see him on the pitch, but he's still there, and that's
yeah.
also with Martinez, and that's the thing that he will bring to United: power, aggressive, aggressive. Yeah, how do you say that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
aggressive.
grit.
Yeah,
Yeah, aggressive. Keep it on Grinta, and passion. And I think I missed at United because I follow United also when they had their top years with Van der Sar, Van Persie,
yeah.
you name it.
That's the legends.
Uh, After the Glazers bought the club, you saw that the soul was slowly getting out of the club. Um, when I watched the match of the day and I saw Old Trafford, then there was always a kind of atmosphere that isn't anymore. Yeah, the same you have. I don't know. I You won't like it, but even with Arsenal, Arsenal became a different kind of club than it was when they were playing at Highbury. uh,
Absolutely.
your The biggest enemy of you guys, Liverpool, is showing that passion, even though they have an owner, but they have their policy how they want to create the team, how they want to buy their players, and I don't see that at United. Um, it's good that Ten Hag can buy the players that he wants, but it's also tricky because who can guarantee you that Ten Hag will do it better than Solskjaer did? So that's the thing that United still need to think of. What is their identity? But I think that Martinez can tribute a lot of the team, a lot to the team, and you guys will definitely enjoy him.
And to be honest, listening to you, talk about, his upbringing, of course, you mentioned the South American links, a lot of South American players that have that passion, of course, we just had Cavani recently, and he
Yeah,
had that different sort of hunger. Listen to what you're saying and what I've heard from Martinez in terms of his personal quotes. It's a breath of fresh air, to be honest. As anyone will know, watching Manchester United, we've not had that in our team for a long time. Somebody that's willing to die on the pitch and willing to
yeah,
die and fight for
exactly.
every single
He
ball.
wants to
And
die
the
on the
quote,
pitch.
yeah, exactly. The quote that he said, I tweeted the other day. I can't remember exactly word for word, but the last line he said, I'd obviously fight for every ball, even if I have to go over dead bodies. And I was like, no, what?
Yeah,
That's just wow. That gave me chills. I was like, finally, someone that's willing to, do anything. Obviously, in terms of defensive, we need that badly. But I just want to talk about his other aspects of his game. Obviously, we've established that he's extremely aggressive. Of course, we know he suits Ten Hag system. I want to talk about his passing ability. Of course, he's a left-sided centre back.
yeah,
In my head, when I think of left-sided centre back for a long time, is Blind. Blind was absolutely phenomenal for us. Unbelievable IQ. Of course, he's done very well for you guys since returning as well. A big fan of his. I'm just curious to know, like in terms of Martinez, his ball playing attributes. I know Jurin Timber is fantastic from playing at the back. He's extremely integral in starting attacks. What's Martinez in terms of his ability to pass the ball through the lines, his long passing, etc. Like, is that one of his strengths, or would you say that's something he needs to improve on?
no, he improved his long passes. He developed his passing really well in the last 1.5 season he played for Ajax. Um, to give you some more background information, we bought Martinez as the whole team. Everybody inside Ajax thought that Tagliafico would leave the club. Tagliafico played uh, 2 3 seasons, and then he was ready for the next step. But the thing
Yeah,
was, nobody came for him. So he and Alvarez had the same problem, Martinez and Alvarez, that yeah, they really had some time to. They had some struggles when they started at Ajax. Martinez started then as a midfielder. It didn't fit really well. And suddenly, after the winter break, Ten Hag found the right system, which had a place for Martinez as a left central defender and Alvarez as a midfielder. Afterwards, Martinez developed himself as a more complete defender. Also, with his left foot, he's able to skip the midfield to open passes over to the attackers, and that was one of the powers that Ajax had to surprise the opponent. He also scored some beautiful goals with his left foot. Also, he scored with his head, which was really funny because in a full 16 box with players like trees, and suddenly you saw him scoring. That was
Oh,
really
right, from a set piece. Oh,
yeah, like from centerpiece. So um, his weakness, I think, is that sometimes he wants to do too much, which can be a bottleneck for him, because then he isn't in control. Otherwise, what sometimes can happen is that when the team is not functioning, he can also be one of the players that you can count on that day. It's not that he's not willing to, but yeah, it's just like form, you can't one day you have it and the other day it disappeared. So that could be a weakness from him, but otherwise, I think I can't call any weaknesses at the moment, because for us he was a
oh,
complete
wow.
defender.
Wow, fair. I mean, to be fair, obviously, I was going to ask you about his weaknesses or potential weaknesses. For me personally, we've had so many issues in defense. We need someone that's going to come in and hopefully hit the ground running. And I'm hoping he's that guy. But in terms of his passing, it's good to hear that he has got the capabilities of starting attacks, which you obviously alluded to. That I think that's extremely important for us. Again, that's something that we have struggled with massively for me personally. But I do kind of want to ask you anyways. I feel like I've already answered it myself, but what are your thoughts of him playing in the DM position, or in the double pivot, should I say? As you would know, Ten Hag doesn't really play with an out-and-out DM, so to speak. What are your thoughts? Is that even an option at this point? When was the last time he played in that position for you lot? How was he? Is he just not suitable for that role, so to speak?
Well, it depends which who will be his partner on the midfield, because he needs someone next to him who can also help him. He played as a defensive midfielder. Last time that he played was a really long time ago, and it wasn't that bad, but it was like, meh, um I would say that eh, he preferred to be a defender, with the play in front of him, and he loves to dribble into the midfield. But I don't think a midfielder would be his best place, to be honest. Give him the defender spot together with somebody who has the ability also to give him, to cover him. Then he's on his best.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's fair enough. Obviously, like I alluded to earlier, Ten Hag did kind of say himself that he just can't play DM. Of course, that was in 2020. It's been a few years since then, but we're just desperate at this point. We just need someone to fill that role. So we're like, is Martinez capable? He's obviously good on the ball. He's got that tenacity and obviously fight, etc. As he
Well,
would.
I think you can use him as a defensive midfielder, but give him first the time to acclimate to the Premier League.
Yeah,
Then
yeah, of
then
course.
the moment that he feels really comfortable as a defender, you can also experiment with him as a midfielder. But you guys are in real need of a midfielder, then I would say get Frankie De Jong, because Frankie De
Yeah,
Jong
yeah.
because Frankie De Jong playing in front of Martinez, that would be a real game changer also for United, because you have somebody like De Jong who can defend, who can attack, and you have a butcher behind him. So what else do you need?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite evident that Ten Hag does want Frankie De Jong. Hopefully, that deal does happen, but of course, time will tell. It seems like that's going to go down to the wire, so to speak. Just
But
before, yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, I read an interesting article in a magazine, in a Dutch magazine, about the fact that Ten Hag is now in charge. He demanded that he was involved. Who will come? Who will be sold?
Yeah,
I think that's also a big problem of United, that you give the whole responsibility to the coach. Because, like I said before, if Ten Hag doesn't win the first five matches, just saying,
yeah,
what
yeah.
will happen then? If you guys sack him, then you have then you have the players that he bought. And what if a new coach wants his own players? So my question is, are you guys do you guys know what direction the club wants to go? Because if there is no director, I believe, who can do such signings, and giving everything to a coach, it's a big risk you guys are taking.
Yeah, I mean, the structure at Manchester United is something that is well documented in terms of it's an absolute disaster at the moment. From what I'm aware of, I believe John Murtaugh is the person looking after the transfers. But in terms of the direction of the club, it does seem like a lot of that is being put onto Ten Hag's shoulders, as you kind of mentioned there. If things were to go south very quickly, then we'd be in another situation where we've got players that only suit a certain system. And this has already happened at Manchester United with the previous managers. Hence, we've got such a backlog of players from previous managers that don't suit a new manager's philosophy, so to speak. So it's definitely worrying without a shadow of a doubt. But for me personally, I must be honest, I'm happy that they actually trust in the manager, in this case, Ten Hag. Because I think it's important for Manchester United to move forward, to have full trust in the manager. If you're going to get a manager, you need to back him 110%. And that's something we've not done in the past with Jose Mourinho in particular, when he wanted defenders. They said to him, you've already got Smalling and Jones, etc. And I think we need to stray away from that. We do need to trust the managers. At the end of the day, if you're going to employ these people, yes, of course, you need a director of football and someone to work with them. But in the meantime, you need to trust that they understand what is best for the club. And you need to immerse yourself in the philosophy, and hopefully it comes good. Of course, time will tell, and it's going to be difficult for Ten Hag because at the moment, he needs a lot of players and he hasn't got that. So, time will tell, so to speak, regarding what happens. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. For me, it's always going to be
It's
concerned.
more
But
it's more about the heritage, because United had several coaches that wanted their players. Mourinho, Rangnick, Moyes, and last time we had Solskjaer. Every coach want their own players, and that's I can get that. But the problem is, it's not about buying, buying, buying. There needs to be a philosophy behind buying a player,
of
and
course,
that's something I missed at United for the last couple of years. And I hope that Ten Hag will get the chance, and not because he's a Dutchman, but because I think it's a real good coach. And with signing Martinez, we all in Amsterdam, we were real pissed about the fact that he signed Martinez. But what we also need to realize, also in Amsterdam, that a coach will always look at the players that he worked with when he had success. So that's
absolutely.
everywhere is happening that. So hopefully that Ten Hag will get the time to also build a good scouting system, and that you guys will find another pearls like you did in the past. One of the biggest pearls still is Ronaldo, because I saw the
I
match
was gonna
against.
I was gonna ask you about this actually, because I was just curious. Obviously, don't worry, people. I'm reading the questions that we're asking about Malasia because that's a very popular question as well.
Yeah.
But regarding Ronaldo, I was just curious to know your thoughts on how he will deal with that situation. Because of course, he's a big figure. He's a big personality. Do you think Ten Hag will be able to deal with that in terms of ensuring that the best outcome for both him and Marcel, so to speak?
No, you don't need to sell him, because now he should be showing that he's a real great sportsman. Because I find it real weak that he wants to leave the club because he's not playing Champions League. My thoughts are that Ronaldo is now doing like he's whining like a baby. Um, he could be for me the goat of Manchester United if he can lead the team this season to the Champions League. Maybe they become champion. You never know. But if he is able to bring the team to the Champions League and then play Champions League with them, then for me Ronaldo is the greatest, because then he showed to the public, look, I'm getting older, but I still have the ability to lead my team, Manchester United, to the Champions League. The way he's acting right now is like a little baby who doesn't get his what he wants. Uh,
Do you think
Going
Ten
back,
Hag can deal with that though? Because obviously,
I
what you're
think
saying
so. I
is
think so because
true, but
Ten Hag should have a good talk with him and tell him he wants to build the team around him, knowing that he's getting a day older, that he won't play every match, but that he still has an important part in this team. So I think that Ten Hag will be able to keep Ronaldo for the team, and then then Ronaldo will show, and then Ronaldo will show that he will be a great player for this United with Ten Hag as his coach.
yeah, I mean, in terms obviously the Ronaldo situation, obviously from the perspective of how he's reacting, the truth is, I've been defending him a lot. But if it is true that he's avoiding training, then I can't defend that. It's extremely unprofessional, and I'm a bit
It's
surprised.
unprofessional. It
Yeah,
is.
I'm extremely surprised that he do that with someone of his, caliber in the game, so to speak. But yeah, a lot of concern with the United fan base at the moment is whether Ten Hag can get Ronaldo on board without him spitting his dummy out, basically, without him causing disruption in the dressing room, without him. You kind of said that. Build a team around him. A lot of people are talking about Anthony Martial. I don't know if you've seen any of our preseason.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah,
He did real well the last couple of matches. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Obviously, I mean it's just preseason, but we're
yeah,
looking
of
more
course.
fluid, obviously more dangerous in the attack, etc. And a lot of people do have concerns that Ronaldo potentially, doesn't fit in that philosophy. Do you think Ronaldo is somebody that could strive in a Ten Hag philosophy, or is it a case that Ten Hag wants pressing from the front? He wants his players to be extremely mobile. Obviously he's not his age, etc. Do you think he even fits in general? Or is it just a matter of he gets goals, so to speak?
I think every player can fit in every system. That every good player can fit in every system. I think that Ronaldo can fit in the plans of Ten Hag, but he needs to want he needs to show it to Ten Hag that he wants to be part of his plans. That's the whole point. If Ronaldo sees that there isn't any other club who's interested in him, and he can realize that he can be really important for United, then it could be an interesting season for everybody because United will play a lot of matches. So you will need a big squad with Martial. I think Martial will be one of the surprises of the coming season, together with Rashford. Rashford is also my personal favorite as a player. So I think that Ronaldo can also realize that he can be a mentor for these players, and
Absolutely.
he can show them how he created success, because Ronaldo is really extreme in his way of living for the sport. And if he get maybe 10% of his madness for the game over to the whole squad of United, then you guys are getting a real interesting opponent for coming season.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it just comes down to his mentality. To be honest, I mean,
Yeah,
you've seen in the past a lot of times he wants to be the main man. He wants to be,
yeah,
the focal point, so to speak. And for me, in a Ten Hag system where it's very reliant on the team rather than a set individual, I think it's important that he buys into that. And at the end of the day, if he doesn't buy into that, as a lot of people are saying in the comments, he needs to leave, so to speak. But
yeah, of course.
yeah, but I
If
was gonna tell with the Ronaldo thing. Obviously, I've kind of sidetracked, but obviously, I kind of want to get your thoughts on that. Anyways, I want to just come back to some of the players. Obviously, we've got two more players to discuss. Malacia being one of them. There was a good question in here by the United Way, kind of alluding to Malacia as a left back. Would he complement Martinez? Who do you think would complement Martinez the most? As a fullback, so we've got Shaw and Malacia. Really, I don't think Tellez is even in the equation. But who do you think would be the best partner for him on that left side of the defense? And also, in fact, no, I'll let you answer that first, and then we'll come to Malacia. But first question first: who do you think would be the best partner for him on the left side if you was to pick out the two?
I would go for Malasia, definitely. I like Ten Hag. I was also a big fan of Malasia, although he was playing for Feyenoord.
Yeah,
Feyenoord is like your Liverpool. That's Feyenoord for
yeah,
Ajax.
of course.
Um, I was really happy for Malasia that he made the transfer to United. Although I thought at first that he would go to Lyon. The reason I love Malasia was the fact that uh, during last season and the season before, when Feyenoord played against Ajax, uh, Team Malaysia all day, Luke Shaw. Malaysia played against Anthony. Also familiar for you guys, right? Anthony.
Oh
And
yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
yeah,
the Italian
and
fans.
Malaysia was the only left back who made it Anthony real difficult. That was the only. These were the matches against Feyenoord were real difficult for Anthony because Malaysia was defending him so short, and he couldn't do his actions like he used to in different matches. So the fact that Malaysia he is small, but he has a pace, he has a power, he has a good left foot. You guys will be surprised about the fact how good he is. Malaysia was one of the favorite players of Ten Hag while he was at Ajax, but the problem was he couldn't buy him because it's like you guys would buy. Give me a name of Liverpool, a
Oh,
great Liverpool
Liverpool.
player.
Robertson, for example. I don't know. Robertson.
Robertson. No, Alexander Arnold, one of
Oh
the
yeah,
best backs of Liverpool, and
yeah,
that he would say, "Okay, I will go to Manchester United." Then you can kill him, right? In
yeah, yeah.
Liverpool, they
It's
would
not. It's
go
not
mad.
gonna happen, obviously, because that rivalry,
No,
of course.
exactly. Yes, Gullit. That's the good point. Malaysia is a not the copy, but he was just like Evra.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what that's what I
definitely.
that's what I said as well. Actually,
Yeah,
from the clips I've seen of him, he reminds me of Evra a lot. He has that power as well. You know, that
yes.
explosive power when he's running. And he's shown he's got quality as well, which is something again that Luke Shaw hasn't shown over the years. But my next question really is in terms of him and Martinez as a pair. Of course, as you have the left back and the left centre back as a pair, so to speak. Do you think they could work cohesively? Of course, you haven't seen them together before, and neither are we at the moment. But do you think they'll be able to complement each other the way they play? They both seem like they're very, aggressive in their approach. Do you think that it'd be a bit too much, or do you think it'd be a great sort of combination, so to speak?
I think these players are that kind of players that United missed in the last couple of years, and I think that together they would be a great combination on the left side. I think for a right striker, it would be hell playing against both of them.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, for sure. And what always so funny of Malaysia, he's always smiling. He is
Yeah.
always smiling, and the way he plays, some of course, I think physically he needs some more improvement because he's a little ill. He's a little tiny yet, but I believe with a good training session, a good training program, you could develop his physical, and then it would be an amazing player for United. But to be honest, everything falls and stand with results.
Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, for me personally, look, I'm extremely excited. It's going to be a new look left side of the pitch for Manchester now, something we've not had for a long time. And in terms of the tenacity in both of them, in terms of the manner in which they approach the game, it's going to be a breath of fresh air. Obviously, they're both very young players as well. They're energetic. They're very explosive in the manner in which they're playing. They play the game the right way. So hopefully, they do come good together. But in terms of other players that you will know very well, what are your thoughts on Anthony to Manchester United? I know,
No,
obviously.
no, no, no. Stop. You guys have already Martinez. It's enough. Today
Do
we
you think there's any?
signed.
Do you think there's? I'll not talk about it too much because obviously I don't want to disrespect you. Of course, you don't want to talk about your main player, so to speak, leaving the club. But just quickly, I don't want to dwell on it too much. But do you think there's any truth in the speculation, so to speak?
Well, today, I mean yesterday, our technical manager Gerry Hamstra told the Dutch press that he doesn't want to sell any more uh, uh,
Yeah, I
players
saw that. I
of
saw
the
that.
team. Yeah, so you can say a lot of things, but if there is a right bid of United coming to Ajax, everybody's for sale. But the thing is, I think with the budget that you guys have, and Ajax wants, I think 80 million for Anthony. I don't think it's realistic for this year
Way
because you
too much
guys,
in it.
it's way too much. But you also need to realize he has still a contract for 3 years, and
Yeah.
he developed real well. If he's if he is he a good player for United? Why get him if you have Sancho?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know Anthony better in terms of what he offers to the system, which is Eric Ten Hag.
He's
Um,
really unpredictable. He is fast as hell. I saw it with my own eyes how quickly he can recover a ball and also gets to the ball.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you guys have paid 85 million for
Yeah, 80.
Sancho,
The max I personally would pay is 50. But as good as says, it would be for depth because we are massively short. As it stands, I know that probably doesn't, make sense to you, but hypothetically speaking, if Rashford was to get injured, God forbid, of course, it would mean that Martial, Ronaldo, and Sancho would be our only options. The only other options would
ah,
be all.
yeah, okay.
We've only got Elanga and Amad Diallo as backups, and of course, they're both 19 basically, and you don't want to be putting that kind of pressure. I know Anthony's very young as well, so is
He,
Sancho, but
he
they have that
definitely
pedigree in the game, so to speak, because they've played quite a lot.
he
Um,
definitely has depth, and that's something that Ajax also missed in the last couple of years. So I saw a reaction of we need depth. Yeah, he would be the ideal player for you guys with his speed, with his left foot. His left foot is real good, and he can score goals, but he can also give assists. You saw that in the Champions League with Haller in the first match against Sporting Lisboa.
yeah,
He gave, I believe, 3 assists. So yeah, Anthony would be an amazing player for every team, but he's staying in Amsterdam at least
yeah,
for
I'm not
this
gonna.
year.
Yeah, well, hopefully for you, of course. I'm not going to ask you too many questions on it because obviously I feel like it's a bit disrespectful, to be honest. Of course, if we were to sign
No,
him,
no,
then it'd be.
I love to talk about. I love to talk about this kind of
Yeah, no, I
topics.
mean
So
he's an absolute baller. But listen, I want to ask you. This is a great question here from Bart. Bart, I did see a question about Zidane Iqbal, by the way. Just quickly, so he was asking me. I'm Pakistani. He was asking me regarding Zidane Iqbal earlier. Of course, I'm extremely proud. Long may it continue. Great for South Asians to have representation at a big club. So hopefully Zidane keeps going from strength to strength. He's got off to a good start, but don't want to get ahead of myself and put that pressure on the kid. But I think this is a great question. So I'm assuming you probably be aware of the disrespect that your league gets. I'm sure you guys are because it seems like. Uh, so it says, is it fair to say that might not buying too many Eredivisie players, they may struggle in the Premier League because the intensity levels or the Premier League's more difficult to adjust, etc. That kind of thing. Do you think that's a fair comment, or do you think that's? I don't want to say a myth because I do think there's truth to it myself personally, but do you think there's do you think players do struggle from Eredivisie into the Premier League firstly, and do you think it's risky for us to be trying to buy so many players from that league?
uh, to answer the last question first, it is a risk, and I agree with Bart is a big fan. I think that it was his question.
Yeah,
y- you see that the players of the team that played against Tottenham in the semifinals of the Champions League, of that team, Ziyech, Van de Beek went to the Premier League. Van de Beek, now you guys saw it by yourself. Nobody understood why Van de Beek was bought by United because he didn't play much. The same thing you see with Ziyech, that he's playing under a coach which has a different kind of playing football. Um, it's true that the Eredivisie isn't that competitive comparing with the Premier League. So I think of course it's a risk, but it's for every player that you're buying. It's a
yeah,
risk. Um, but like I said before, Tanakh is searching the players that he loves and he worked with. Well, he worked with Martinez. He loved Malatia. That's why he bought both players. But time will tell. It's not that the time when Van der Sar was a goalie and Van Persie was playing in as a
that's
spits
true. Yeah,
as a striker. The whole football evolved, and you see that also with the players. There was a period that everybody was searching for physical players. Then we wanted all players with a good technique. Tiki taka was everything. Everybody was talking about tiki taka, and now we're seeking for more physical players. So yeah, I don't know, to be honest, but of course it's always a risk. But I think with Martinez and with Malasia, you guys have players that can come with the intensity, and now the results will tell if these players are good enough.
Yeah, I mean, based on what you said in terms of how you described them two players in particular, I don't think the intensity is going to be an issue for them. And I think that's a fair assessment from you to say that, look, at the end of the day, every signing that Manchester United are going to make is a risk, regardless of where the league. You could have said the same for Bruno Fernandes, of course, coming from the
Yeah, sure.
Portuguese league, Luis Diaz coming from the Portuguese league. I mean, there's not, people disrespect that league as well in the Premier League as well, sadly. So look, end of the day, look, Martinelli, he's come from the Brazilian league and he's been fantastic. I think he came from the second tier as well. So look, there's loads of examples of people have done well. It just depends on the manager and how to get the best out of him. You kind of mentioned the physical, and it kind of leads me on nicely to my last player, which is, I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I do apologize, but it's Ibrahim Sangare. Is that you say? I must have said that wrong.
Sangare.
Sangarillo, there we go, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what getting an expert does for you. You get the right pronunciations. Sangarillo, okay, so I know how to say it now. So I've got a few questions on him. I'm going to be extremely honest. I don't know much about him. I have got a bit of a running joke going on with a couple of my friends because I've literally watched one compilation video for 3 minutes on him. That's all I've watched, and I'm sold. Like I literally just watched like 3 minutes. So of course, as we know, you can't tell what a player is like based off a compilation video. But off the back of that video, I think he would be absolutely fantastic for us. But you'll know better than me. What are your thoughts on him? We haven't really been linked with him. There's a bit of speculation, but personally, I don't think there's much truth to it. Do you think he's a player that Man United should be in for? He's quite cheap, to be fair, given the current market. Is that someone that we should be interested in, so to speak?
You guys were you told me that you were seeking for a good DM, and I think Sangare could be a great DM for Manchester United. Not because he's playing for PSV Eindhoven. It's an opponent of Ajax, but he has his weight with his, and he's physical also real good. Uh, he's a player that you can use between. He can play as a number 6, and he has also pace. He has a lot of power, and he can score goals. So if you play with him on the midfield together with Bruno Fernandes, and maybe another midfielder, then it could be a great concept on the midfield, and he could be a great yeah, how do you say that? He
Addition
could
to
be
the team.
he could be a great addition to the team. Yeah, that was the word I was seeking for.
What's his ability on the ball? Again, I've not seen much of him.
When he started, he was a little clumsy on the ball. You can compare him a little bit with Alvarez, but Sangare developed his technique even better. Alvarez is also developing, but he has more. He's more friends with the ball than Alvarez. Alvarez has sometimes he was struggling.
Yeah.
Sangare did that, but after a while, he started to understand what his role was on the midfield, and then he became one of the key players of PSV. That's one of the reasons that Van Nistelrooy doesn't want to sell him, because he can be one of the key players for coming season, together with Luc de Jong and also with Cody Gakpo, who is a left winger. So you can see Sangare a little like the patron on the midfield, and
Okay.
he's a real good in defending. But like I said, he has also developed himself like a midfielder who can score goals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's always useful to have that extra sort of potential goal threat. But in terms of his overall ability, you said that he's improved his technical, which is good to hear. Of course, as you would know, Ten Hag would want ball playing midfielders. And we've got a question here, I think, is very relatable in terms of, well, it's a great question. We're good at saying, can he work with De Jong? You did mention Bruno Fernandes and potentially somebody else. Would it potentially work with Sangaria and De Jong and Bruno Fernandes? Would that work, or is there no balance there? Or does that not make sense?
Good question. I think he can, but then you need him as the number 6, so Sangare as the number 6, and make Frankie De Jong play or next to him or a little in front of him, so that you can play with two attacking midfielders, with De Jong and Fernandes, and that Sangare is playing just behind them.
Okay, so you'd play him as the base in a 4-3-3. So
Yeah,
you don't think he suits the 4-2-3-1, so to speak.
it can be because he's multifunctional. But if you want to play in his strength, I would play him out like a number six.
Okay, fair enough. So he's an out and out DM. Okay, to be honest, for me personally, like I said, I don't know a great deal about him, but the reason I do want him is because he gives us a different dimension. He's
Yeah.
extremely aggressive. He's very tenacious in the tackle, and he has that physicality as well, which is extremely important in this day and age, as you mentioned. But it's just something we don't have. Like for example, him in front of Martinez. Can you imagine the aggression there? I think it'd be fantastic. Personally, obviously, you'll know better than me. Do you think that would work in general? Obviously, you kind of mentioned with De Jong in front of Martinez would be brilliant. Do you think Sangare in front of Martinez? Does he think that still works, or do you think that
Yeah,
doesn't?
it is because he has the head, he has the height. Sangare has the height, so it would work really good. I was thinking of a Manchester player in the past you can compare with
So,
Sangare.
someone said Matic, but I don't think he's similar to Matic personally. But I haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, but I would say if you go back even further, if you even go back to the past, even though in the Dream Team that have won the Champions League in '99, you had
Who was that DM in '99? Why have I forgotten? Um,
oh,
I think Nicky
you had
Post.
Beckham on the midfield. You had
Yeah.
uh,
My mind's gone blank. Somebody help me out. Is it Roy Keane? That's what I'm thinking as well.
Keane. Yeah, it was Keane.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I thought
compare
it
him
was
with
Nicky Post and Keane. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Keane, but he has uh, the same kind of aggression. But like Keane is always yelling at the referee and yelling at his players. Sangare
Yeah.
isn't that kind of player. He's more a sophisticated player on the field. But when he's defending, yeah, you can imagine he's going for the ball.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, if he's even half the player Roy Keane was, then that's an absolute steal for 35 million in this day and age. Unbelievable signing that would be. But listen, Ravish, we're going to leave it there. Obviously, you're not going to want to come back on because it means that we probably got Anthony.
No, you can
Um,
listen. You can always because I love to talk also about United.
okay.
I want to guys. I want to compliment you guys with the new kit. I like the new away kit. I really loved it, and yeah, I'm also a collector of football kits. So I'm
Yeah, the white kit's nice, to be fair. Actually, I'm quite impressed with
yeah,
the
the
white
white
kit.
kit is amazing, and I loved it with the black shorts. That's for me a great
Oh, that's a
combination.
that's a classic. Yeah, that's a
Yep.
classic United. To be fair, just before I do let you go, obviously, just want to ask you about your own team. So I mean, someone's asking you about Timber. Listen, we're gonna ask him about Ajax. Timber's not going anywhere. I think he just signed a new contract. If I'm not wrong, or he's going to sign a new contract.
Almost, almost.
I just want to get your thoughts on your current situation, just quickly. You saw so many players. Obviously, you've got a new manager. It just seemed like you've signed a few. I believe you signed Bergwijn. There was somebody else that you were looking to
We
sign as
signed
well.
we signed so
Centre back from Rangers, I believe.
yeah, we signed Bussy from Glasgow Rangers. We also signed the son of Sergio Conceição, the coach of FC Porto. He just signed his contract today, and we will also re-sign Brian Broby, who is getting back from Red Bull
Ah,
Leipzig.
yes, from RB Leipzig. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, I thought that
Broby
was.
was also flirting with Manchester United. The
Yeah, I
rumors
don't.
were
I
that
don't think that. Was, I didn't personally want him. I've got to be quite honest with you. Obviously, I know he's a good young talent, but I just think give it another couple of years and see where he's at, so to speak. But of course, he'll be a great addition to your team. I just want to get your thoughts quickly on Ajax in terms of, where do you see yourself this season? Are you going to go? You're going to win the title? What are your thoughts?
yeah, it's gonna be a real interesting season. Of course, we have lost a lot of players. We have a new coach. We have a whole new technical heart. I think that we will go again for the title in the Eredivisie. I think for the Champions League it would be a little difficult because in my opinion, the squad isn't Champions League proof yet. But with signings of Bergwijn, Brobbey, Bassi, uh, they might surprise us in Europe. For the Dutch team, I think we have an amazing selection. We have an amazing squad.
They're asking
And
you about. They're asking you
yeah,
about
we are.
Bergwijn a lot.
We are.
What?
It took us 4 times to sign him, but
Are you
once,
happy with the signing? What are your thoughts on him?
yeah, he's amazing. I saw him playing in 2 matches. Of course, it's preseason, but he already showed why Ajax bought him. He got the depth,
Yeah.
and together with him and Anthony as our depth strikers, it could be really amazing. So yeah, I for the in the Dutch league, we will definitely go for the title. That's our only ambition, and let's hope that we can surprise again in Europe like we did last season, and hopefully it won't end after the the finals. What was it again? Eight. You have after the group stage. You have the what's the first stage after the group stage? Guys,
The
help us.
knockout.
The, no-
Sorry,
and let's hope that yeah, let's hope
sorry,
that it will be.
I disconnected. So what was the last? Sorry, I do apologize.
No, no.
What was it?
I said for the
What,
Champions League, let's hope we can surprise and that it won't end in the knockout phase after we had a brilliant group stage season. So yeah, I yeah, I'm positive. I'm positive about coming season, and maybe we guys will meet somewhere. You don't know. Round of 16, exactly. Let's hope it won't be ending in the round of 16 like we did against Benfica, because
well,
that was
we're not in the Champions League, so we're not going to meet you this season
no,
unless
no.
you
But
drop
I
it.
think no, but I think that Ajax won't. That the Champions League is too high. But if we have a pool which could be real difficult, and we make it to the Europe League, then we might face each other.
Listen, if you make it to Europe League, that would be interesting. I'll definitely have to come to Amsterdam for that. Their way, like 100%. Of course, obviously, vice versa for the home leg for us. But listen, Ravage, it's been an absolute pleasure. What a quality show! A lot of people in the chat, obviously, showing you a lot of love. Make sure if you haven't already, please do slap a like and subscribe to thy channel. Before we go, as always, Ravish, let the people know your socials. I know you don't do much content, but I appreciate your time as always. But let them know where they can find you or follow you, and obviously keep up to date with everything that you're doing in terms of your Ajax chat.
So if you guys want to follow me, you see my Twitter name. It's at Ravish Sitaldin. If you have questions, you can always send me a DM or can react on my Twitter. Yeah, and if you want to see me again talking with Usman about United or about Ajax, let us know. Thank you guys for having me in the show, and hopefully we'll meet again. And Usman, I
Yeah.
hope maybe coming season I can come to Manchester to watch a match on Old Trafford.
You will 100% be coming. I said to you, I'm going to sort it out myself 100%. Don't worry, I will get you out Old Trafford at some point. Fingers crossed, would be a good game as well. But listen, thank you so much for your time. Honestly, I genuinely do mean it. It's good to have someone who obviously watches Eredivisie give their insight, because, of course, although we know certain things, you know a great deal, and it's just good to have your knowledge. Everyone, make sure you go and follow him on his socials. Make sure you show him love. Obviously, thank him on there as well for coming on. Please do slap a like, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I'm going to be back on Monday with another show. Feel free to follow my social as well, which is on the screen. But apart from that, it's been your boy Usman. Enjoy the rest of your night. And